Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're ripping the glossy, sun-drenched marketing veneer right off the modern cruise industry. You know the ads I'm talking about, right? Everyone's holding a pristine cocktail, gazing at a perfectly timed sunset. Well, we're going to use hard data and insights from 10 brutally honest travel shorts to unmask what actually happens to your wallet, your schedule, and, honestly, your sanity when you book that dream vacation. Let's dive right in.
Okay, get ready for this quote. Biggest cruise scam, balcony cabins. If that statement completely shatters a vacation dream you've been holding on to, well, you are exactly in the right place. We're going to use startling insights just like this one to set the stage for the unvarnished truths we're uncovering today. Because once you see behind the curtain, it is absolutely going to change how you book.
So here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, we'll hit the wallet with the hidden financial traps. Then we'll jump into modern ship life realities, followed by the exhausting truth of the port day speed run. And finally, we're going to separate fact from fiction with the real cruise dangers.
Let's start with section 1, the hidden financial traps.
Look, cruise lines are absolute masters at selling the dream, but your wallet takes the actual brutal hit once that booking is done. It's the classic cheap cruise trap. You start with this incredibly tempting advertised base fare of $699. You think, wow, that's an absolute steal. But then come the mandatory gratuities and the Wi-Fi package, just so you can text home. Then, you add in a specialty dining night because you want a nice steak, maybe a little casino spending. Finally, the real heavy hitters show up, drinks and excursions. Suddenly, your cheap $699 getaway has literally ballooned into an $1,800 total bill. The industry relies on first-time cruisers completely ignoring these add-ons. And honestly, the psychology of it is brilliant. They get you in the door with a tiny number, and by the time you're on board, you're a captive audience. And speaking of add-ons, it blew my mind to learn that $1,500 is the average extra amount people drop just to upgrade to a balcony cabin. But here is the brutal truth. They barely even use it. Think about your actual schedule on a ship. You're eating, you're out exploring ports, you're hitting the shows, you're partying. You're mostly just inside that cabin to shower and crash. Honestly, unless you're sailing through Alaska or the Norwegian fjords where stunning glaciers are right outside your window 24/7, that $1,500 is usually just wasted money. They love selling you the dream of sipping coffee in a plush robe on your private deck, but your wallet is suffering for a reality that almost never happens.
Then we've got the grand illusion of the all-inclusive drink package. The cruise lines know you probably think you'll drink enough to justify that massive upfront cost, but the math on this is brutal. You typically have to knock back 8 to 12 alcoholic drinks every single day of your trip just to break even. I mean, unless your vacation goal is a multi-day unrelenting hangover, paying for drinks casually as you go is almost always the smarter, cheaper choice. Don't let FOMO trick you into paying hundreds of dollars upfront just to lose money and, possibly your dignity by day 3.
Moving right along to Section 2, Modern Ship Life Realities.
Let's completely destroy some outdated stereotypes you might still believe about ship life. A lot of people still think cruises are strictly for retirees playing shuffleboard, but the industry has radically evolved. We're talking about multi-level nightclubs, towering water slides, zip lines suspended right over the top deck, surf simulators, massive adult-only parties. Ships today, especially from lines like Royal Caribbean and Virgin Voyages, are absolute engineering marvels. They are basically modern floating resorts. It's high-energy entertainment from dawn to dusk, and if you haven't cruised in a decade, you probably haven't realized just how massive this shift really is. But hey, while the fun has undeniably upgraded, the tech can still be a harsh reality check. The brutal truth about trying to do remote work at sea, well, while systems like Starlink have definitely improved things, you are still floating in the middle of the ocean. Scrolling Instagram by the pool, yeah, usually fine. But if you actually need to work, file uploads are going to crawl. Video calls, they'll just freeze entirely. And relying on the ship's Wi-Fi for a high-stakes corporate Zoom meeting, that is pure gambling. Seriously, never trust cruise Wi-Fi if your job actually depends on it. Okay, and then there's the food. The prevailing myth is that cruise buffet food is terrible. Now, on budget lines, it might be pretty average, but on premium cruises, it is honestly impressive. But here's the thing. The real danger isn't bad food. It's unlimited food. It's the psychological warfare of having high-quality, calorie-dense food available to you basically 24 hours a day. Our human brains simply struggle with that level of extreme abundance. You might not even realize how much you're grazing when fresh pizza and decadent desserts are literally always just a deck away. And that, right there, is exactly why people so easily pack on 5 pounds during a standard week-long sailing. All right, let's hit land with Section 3, the Port Day Speed Run. So, why aren't those picturesque European itineraries the relaxing getaways you see on social media? Well, because the reality of a Mediterranean cruise is basically an endurance test. Check this out. At 6 a.m., you're waking up early to prep for what is easily going to be a 20,000-step day. By 9 a.m., you're rushing through heavily crowded ports. At 1 p.m., you're standing in massive tourist lines under a glaring sun. And by 5 p.m., you are literally sprinting back to the dock in a panic so the ship doesn't leave without you. You are essentially speed running Europe. Is it an amazing experience? Absolutely. But is it relaxing? Not even close.
And this perfectly highlights the absolute biggest mistake cruisers make in Europe, trying to see everything in a single stop. You only get 6 to 8 hours in these cities where normal travelers spend an entire week. You have to stop trying to quote-unquote complete massive historical centers like Rome in a single afternoon. You just cannot do the Vatican, the Colosseum, and a leisurely 3-course pasta lunch in 6 hours. Pick 1 or 2 things, take a breath, and actually enjoy them, instead of turning your vacation into a highly stressful checklist. Now, when you're planning those intense port days, you face a massive excursion trade-off that nobody ever really warns you about. Cruise line-sponsored excursions are definitely the safer bet, right? Because the ship basically guarantees they'll wait for you if your tour bus breaks down. But they're often massively overpriced. On the flip side, booking a private, local tour yourself can be way cheaper and give you a much more authentic experience. But, and this is a critical but, if your private tour gets stuck in traffic and you get back 5 minutes late, the ship absolutely can and will leave without you. So you're trading mathematical safety for a better price and experience.
Finally, let's wrap up with Section 4, the real cruise dangers.
It is time to debunk some dramatic, fear-mongering myths. People on social media love to act like cruise ships are these lawless, floating disasters just waiting to happen. The actual reality? A modern cruise ship is a heavily monitored, tightly regulated vessel. The industry operates under super strict maritime laws, international safety protocols, and immense scrutiny. They are far, far safer than those fake narratives pushed by content creators who are just chasing easy viral views.
So what are the factual risks you should actually be worried about? Well, spoiler alert, you are not going to face movie-style pirates on the high seas. Your real-world risks on a cruise are actually incredibly mundane. We're talking about severe dehydration from too much sun and not enough water, or maybe mild food sickness from changing up your diet so drastically at the buffet, or honestly, just getting scammed by a local vendor in a busy tourist port. Those are the boring but brutally honest truths about safety at sea.
So, knowing all of this, the hidden financial traps that can easily double your base fare, the exhausting realities of those port day speed runs, the strict Wi-Fi limitations, and the truth about those expensive balconies and drink packages, is your dream cruise actually the vacation you want to book? Hopefully, this explainer gave you the straightforward facts you need to make the right choice for your wallet, your safety, and your sanity. Never let the marketing blind you to the reality of the experience. Thanks so much for joining me, and keep exploring the facts.